Hey guys, my name's Ryan. I've been a game dev with Unity for about, I want to say 8 years. And I've been the lead front-end designer for TradePost POS for about 3 years. And I've been teaching game development locally in Topeka, Kansas, on and off for probably about 1 year. And in Houston, probably on and off for about a year as well. Right now, we've got a class of about 15 that we do one-on-one class sessions with every Wednesday. And that's going really well. And I wanted to create a format that I could put out through YouTube. The way our course works is a little bit different. If you typically watch a YouTube tutorial, it's usually the quickest solution possible, and you're trying to type and follow along, and sometimes there's something you can download. The way we're going to approach it is we're going to ask you to not type the code as we go along, and instead we want you to just kind of absorb and focus what it is that we're talking about. And then when we're done, we're going to have a kind of like a reference guide. We'll call our Hitchhiker's Guide to C#, right? And that reference guide is going to grow per video over time. And you can have that as well, all of the modules that we build throughout the course, and take that for yourself and use it in sort of a sandbox environment, completing challenges that only will exist inside the modules after the video. If you're a note taker, I highly suggest going and get a pen and paper and or a notebook, whatnot, and taking notes as we go along. We'll try to keep up with the key points, and we'll reiterate, hey, this is important, you should write this down. And then after each video, there should be a module for you to download, pull into a Unity project, or you can go into our local public Git repo, which we'll talk about later, that you can pull in the modules that come from the videos and experiment with them on your own clone version of that, so you can kind of get a better idea of how things function. Another thing that we do a little bit differently than other the courses out there, we're not going to just go through, here's how to do it. We're going to do things kind of very Dora Explorer the vibe, right? Like, tell me, how do you do it, right? So we do what's called pseudocoding, and we focus on just interpreting in English what it is that we're trying to accomplish, and then we go into a second layer of pseudocoding where we go out and use the problem-solving tools that we're given to research how to actually do them and see how that reflects to our pseudocode and update our English. So basically, we're trying to learn how to talk in English in a way that represents actually what's happening in Unity. And then in our third layer, we'll actually apply the code and make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do on the fly. We're also a team-focused course. So our goal is to get you into a situation where you're working with another person and not really being a solo developer. There's not a whole lot of solo developers out there that are super successful. You'll see those one-offs like, wow, this is a really crazy game that was made by this one guy. Well, that one guy's got all of his survivability covered. So he's not working 3 jobs, and he doesn't have his family in the background yelling and screaming, and his kids needing to be fed, right? It's not a realistic situation to go from a 9 to 5 or multiple different jobs and taking care of your family and then coming up with a product on your own in a reasonable amount of time that is potentially going to go out into the world. So instead, we focus on putting you in a situation to work with somebody, which is a skill that you won't learn until you go and join a company or get your first entry-level position. So we try to keep the concept in mind that you're about to be in an entry-level position. Here's how we work together as a group and participate within that. The course is completely free. The reason that it's free is that my hope is that by the end of it, we'll have an exam. You'll take the exam. If you pass it, we'll give you the opportunity to join us in our student studio, which is Dragon Fodder, and make games with us as a student, build up your portfolio, build up your skill sets, and put something out in the world that would be really, really cool. And then go off into the world and do whatever it is you want to do after that, if it's not hanging out with us for the long term. We'll cover everything in regards of C# in terms of the fundamentals for this pipeline, for this course. And so we want to try to avoid shorthand, because shorthand is basically like, if we're to say, so shorthand is like saying, I want to move this object in my hand from left to the right. A shorthand might be something that's basically grabbing it and doing it for you, right? We want to show you how to do it without the extra assistance, so that when you use the object of assistance, it makes sense what's happening under the hood, how it's accomplishing its goal. So we want to focus on teaching you all of that, and then you'll build up your knowledge of shorthand. Once you learn kind of everything going on under the hood, we'll apply all of that into short bursts, into small modules that focus on all of the core mechanics that pretty much every video game has. Things like, picking stuff up, power-up systems, time management, character control and movement, jumping, movement, all that stuff. Getting information from one thing to another, all of the things that every single video game has. And then we'll teach you how to take that, scale it into whatever type of game that you want, and put a couple of things together that you can, let your friends check out. We'll show you how to get that online and stuff. But we're not really going to focus anything like, here's how to build an RTS. Here's how to build an FPS. Here's how to build an MMO, which, that's unrealistic. But there's courses out there that focus on that, and they use the shorthand, and they kind of leave you hanging with how this stuff really works. And our goal is to teach you the problem solving. You'll take that problem solving skill set and make whatever the hell you want with these base fundamentals and these modules. So if that sounds good for you, get your notepad, get your pen, get your snacks, whatever, and we'll see you in the first video starting up right now. We'll be going over the Unity editor and get you guys familiar with that before we jump into our first lines of code. Oh, and before I forget, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Help us grow, help us keep doing this. And then if you have an idea of what kind of game it is that you want to make, put it in the comments, and we'll try to make sure that we accommodate all of those different goals as we build these modules moving forward. Thanks, guys.